New draw. Ha! It is Angeal. Oh, and the weapon and the outfits for Glenn. Dude. Flawless. We called this offline, by the way. I was just like, man, it's probably going to be an ultimate weapon for Angeal, right? Because we went through and said, well, Glenn already has one, Matt already has one, Sephiroth already has one, Lucy already has one. The only first soldier person that doesn't have one is Angeal. And there you go. And then obviously Glenn's weapon, just makes sense because he hasn't had a banner in a little while. Doesn't look like it's limited though. Another new draw. Premium draw, okay. All right, before we check out the limit break, or I'm sorry, before we check out the ultimate weapon for Angeal, I want to check really quickly the paid draw because this is a separate stamp card. So, speaking strictly to the pay-to-play players, right? Strictly to the pay-to-play players. Generally speaking, the tickets, meaning the draw tickets that you usually exchange the red crystals for, at the cheapest, they're 2,000, but they're usually 2,500. Usually. Like if you go to the shop right now, you can probably get some of those right here. You get 10 of the draw tickets for 2,500 red crystals, right? Also comes with 10 stamina pots, which like take it or leave it, right? So this banner costs the exact same amount that this banner does for pay-to-play players, right? But now you get the added bonus where you're still only getting 2 guaranteed copies of the new weapon, but you're getting 4 additional guaranteed 5 stars, and the other 5 stamps have mithril ingots included, which is still not a super premium resource like it was before, but it is still a premium resource. We're only getting 2 a day from Premium Quest, which means you're only getting 14 a week. That means you're only getting 1 weapon from 110 to 120 using mithril ingots right now. That's it. You're getting 1 a week. So adding an additional 25 is great. This is really good for pay-to-play players. This is going to be the banner they pull on for sure, because there's no reason to pull on the other one. Assuming that you still get Mako gems for pulling on this, which it didn't say that you didn't, so I have to assume that you do. Yeah, they even list the ultimate weapon here. So yeah, you absolutely do. Stamp odds are the same, so that's not different. Pull odds are the same. So yeah, otherwise it's the same. It's exactly the same. It's the exact same banner, but better, right? So if you've got the premium currency, this is definitely the way to pull now. You're not pulling on the regular banner anymore. You're pulling on this one, which is dope for the people who pay. For the rest of us, let's check out the aesthetics. I do like the vibe of this outfit. I feel like when you go with black and gray, you have to be very careful with that color scheme because it can come off as plain or a specific direction very quickly, right? And I think that they did a great job with this, with both the way that the color bleeds out as it's going down, right? As it goes down, you see it goes from black to gray to white. I think that's a really nice touch. The splash of red in there is a nice touch. I'm gonna make a comment right now. There's something about that, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Right? For those that have seen Advent Children, you know why this is here, right? And they're clearly not the same. Right? They are clearly not the same. This is clearly a bandage. It actually almost looks like it was ripped off of this, right? And tied onto here. But like, I have been playing games from Nomura, Katase, those two specifically, for the better part of 24 years of my life. I would wager every crystal in my account that this is intentional. I could be very wrong, right? And it could just be like he ripped this off to like you know, bandage himself up, because look, he's got bandages everywhere, right? Because he gotten beat up, right? So like he's just, you know, making do with what he can. He's a soldier. He's just trying to wrap himself up with whatever he can. You can clearly tell that he ripped it off of there, right? Like, look at this. He clearly ripped it off of his own clothes. But like, that's, and it's presented. It's presented. Because remember, when I went into this to just check the outfit, this is how it was. He's holding that up to show you. Anyways, sorry. The weapon looks sick, by the way. It's got kind of Buster Sword vibes with all the tape on it like that. And then obviously this is what makes it Glenn. The cape stope. I love this outfit. I think aesthetically this looks great. I think they did a great job with the coloring. I think they did a great job making this feel like a Glenn outfit. I think this is rad. This looks really cool. All right, let's take a look at Desperado Glaive. Does physical earth damage. Okay. Physical attack down low to mid. Earth resist down low to mid. And veil for himself. Wow, this does a lot. Oh my God, that does 4 things. That's crazy. So it does earth damage. It has a physical attack debuff. It has an earth resist decrease. And it veils himself. That's a lot. And this is going to be 62 HP, by the way. OB1, nothing crazy there. OB6, 550% earth damage. Physical attack decrease goes to high. Earth resist down goes to high. And 8% veil, which means that goes to 10. Wowie zowie, dude. This is really good. This is really, oh my God, and it's 3 ATB for 620. Oh my God, this is really good. Oh my God, this is really good. That is a fair point. Because this is essentially Lucia's weapon, but instead of physical defense down, it's physical attack down. But Lucia's weapon is 4 ATB. This is a 3 ATB weapon for 620% earth damage, a high physical attack debuff, and a high earth resist down with a full 10% veil. 62 HP, which affects the veil, by the way. And then physical defense 42. This is great. I actually think it's ice. I think they already announced what it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's ice. But this weapon's insane. I mean, this is really good. Obviously, for the stages that you don't need the physical attack down, it's whatever. But unlike the other weapons, right, where I've been disparaging on this in the past, because the debuffs for physical attack and magic attack, we're finding that these enemies tend to be immune to it, right? So it's not as useful as it was at the beginning of the game, where we could like cheese some higher level content because they weren't immune to physical attack and magic attack debuffs. But like we've seen that physical attack and magic attack debuffs they're becoming more resistant to it, right? We have to go in with like physical defense up and then have that +1 to the physical defense from the outfit or from Tifa's weapon, or you know what I mean? And that's how we're starting to resist these, or by increasing our own defenses. But even on this, in the stages where this is useless, right? Say the physical attack is useless. You don't need it at all. You're fighting an enemy that only does magic damage. So the physical attack debuff is worthless. This is still a 3 ATB, 620% physical earth damage weapon that lowers earth resist by high and gives him a veil. To put it in perspective, Volcanic Heat for Angeal is a fire weapon that does the exact same amount of damage, also does a high fire resist decrease, also has a 10% veil, and it costs 4 ATB, and doesn't have a debuff for physical attack. You want to talk about power creep? This one's sneaky, because not only are the R abilities really good for defensive R abilities, this is a great sub weapon, by the way, for physical defense, like insanely powerful for physical defense for a sub weapon, especially with 705 physical attack, which is really high. But this is insanely powerful in terms of its usability, and this is a featured weapon. So this is just getting added to the pool. This is one of the best weapons in the game. This is good. This is really, really good. Really, really good. Yeah, sick. All right, let's check the Desperado Mantle. Does physical defense all allies 15. Interesting. So this is a weapon ability, but it's a guild weapon ability specifically. And we've only ever been able to get it up to 35 points, which is obviously the highest it goes still. But what we were doing before is we were getting our guild weapons to OB7. And then at 110, OB7 guild weapons had 30 points of the defense all allies effect, which was giving you this 15-point break, which is where that sweet spot was, right? Because it doesn't get much higher than, I think the highest it goes is 42. And then unless you're main handing that weapon, you're never getting the full effect of 42. So you're only ever getting this 15-point break, right? Now, that 21 points actually gets you up past the level 5 break. So you can actually put an OB10 guild weapon on with that 42 points and and give your entire team 40% physical defense with this weapon, or with this R ability on his outfit. Very interesting. This is actually pretty good. It's still a weapon R ability, so you guys know how I feel about those. They're typically a little bit weaker than others, and I'm worried that this is going to be one of those physical attack extra debuff effects. I hope this is a defensive R ability instead, like HP or something. But I have a sinking feeling in my gut that that's what they're gonna do with this. Is they're gonna be like +1 max tier, and it's just gonna be like, oh man, like. But yeah, that's solid. That's solid. And this is, I think I play this game too much. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. On the stages where this is useful, or when it's used, it's great. On the stages that it's not useful, it's useless. And then this outfit becomes very nichey then, right? The defense all allies is always very good, so that's nice at least, but it's only good for physical stages. This is only very good for enemies that are not immune to physical attack debuffs. He still notably, right, even though it has a high debuff, this only affects the max tier. So you still have to use his attack weapon twice to get the -4 for the physical attack down. That is noteworthy. However, on Earth Week stages, he's going to be using that as his main damage weapon anyways. So that's not that big of a deal. So it's not bad, right? It's fine. It's fine. It's good on the stages that you need it. It's useless on the stages that you don't. And then this is the only R ability that you're getting out of this outfit. So with that in mind, I can tell you this outfit's pretty weak overall. Again, and I shouldn't say weak, I should say nichey. It's very nichey, right? It's really good on the stages that you absolutely need those two effects in particular. And then the stages that you don't, it's just okay, right? It increases your team's defense, which is good. A 20% increase to your entire team's physical defense is a solid addition, right? Being able to get to 40% with just one sub weapon is really good. So that doubles your effective physical defense, or well, no, I'm sorry, physical defense bonus, right? Instead of 20%, it's 40%, which is a huge upgrade. But this second R ability is pretty weak, right? Pretty weak. In terms of the wish list, so for Glenn has a myriad of pretty good weapons that you can include on the wish list here. The one that I would say you need for sure is Pirate's Glaive. Pirate's Glaive gives him a provoke, which that weapon is, it's the only thing that weapon doesn't do. But it also gives your entire team HP gain. Now, if you watch my guild battle video, you'll see how important HP gain is. HP gain allows your team to heal themselves as they're casting. The reason why this is so important is that when you're casting something with 3 ATB, you are casting more frequently, which means you are healing yourself more frequently. This is great for those Earth Week stages that you're going to bring in this new weapon for Glenn, that he's going to spam 3 ATB attacks and then increase his HP that he's getting back as he's doing damage, lowering their physical attack, giving himself another veil, and reapplying Earth Resist down. This is the offhand weapon for Glenn until otherwise stated, and very rarely are we taking this off. And if you do not have Pirate's Glaive at OB10, this is a must for every single wish list. In terms of his other options, Blade of Ruin is another good provoke option that also has increased command gauge. I worry for folks that are interested in min-maxing the battle ranking events, I worry that they're going to build around this. So if you don't have this at OB10, I would consider putting this on your wish list. For folks that are just interested in having it at OB6, this was one of the weapons that we got for Glenn for logging in. So you probably already have this at a high overboost. If you're pulling on this banner and you don't have Blade of Ruin at OB10, it's already at OB6, pull for it, put it on the wish list, get it to OB10. His other options are just kind of okay, right? If you've got his limited water weapon, you don't need Slay the Day anymore, but this is still a solid offhand weapon for physical defense down. If you want to have an offhand weapon for physical defense down, I think it is Piece of Cake. Yes, Piece of Cake at OB10 or OB6 has a high physical defense debuff. I would use this over that because it's also more defensive. This gives him a physical defense drop, which helps increase your team's overall damage, while also, you know, doing the Earth Resist down, doing the physical attack down, giving him a veil, etc. Right? So if you're not using the Pirate's Glaive, I think Piece of Cake is a great option here. And very, very rarely, Very, very rarely do I get to suggest piece of cake as a wish list item. So this is a good moment for me. So this is actually pretty good for his offhand for what you're trying to do with Glenn. The ice resist, obviously you can take it or leave it. That's not necessarily useful for this case, but if you max out his new weapon at OB10, which gets you 42 points of physical defense, having this at OB10 in his offhand gives you the other 16 points that you need to get an extra 80% to his physical defense, making him a massive tank. Massive tank. Great option here. I can't believe I'm saying this. Great option here. I would absolutely wishlist this if you don't have it at OB10. And then anything else in Glenn's kit's perfectly fine. For offhand weapons, he's probably going to be holding things in his sub-weapon slots, things like physical attack, things like physical defense all allies, magic defense all allies, things like that. Nothing in his kit is going to be put into his sub-weapon slots. So if you're looking for one other option to put on the wish list just for Glenn, you could also look into getting Ultimatic to OB10. Not only because is this a decent weapon for Glenn, but it's a great sub-weapon for physical damage dealers as well. So this is definitely useful to have at OB10 as well. So I would include this as well. Last two slots, just put in whatever new weapons you'd like, the new Sephiroth original weapons, the recently released summer outfits or summer weapons. So Zack's Surfer Blade, Angeal's Inflatable Buster Sword, Tifa's Shining Gloves, and Aerith's Mermaid Rod are all great options. But yeah, other than that, this is it's so easy for me to tell you to skip this one. I get the feeling that most people watching this video are not going to have the resources to pull on this banner anyways. That is not to say that this banner is bad, by the way. This banner is pretty good. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the outfit, and as I've said with featured banners, the outfit is king. So since this is a featured banner, this weapon is being added into the featured pool, meaning that we will naturally get this weapon over time. We'll be able to wish list this. We'll be able to pull it from ticket draws. You will have this weapon at OB10 eventually. It is not necessary to pull it today. So unless you're really geeked up about the outfit, easy skip, right? Easy skip here. But that's not to say that this outfit is bad. That's not to say that the weapon is bad. Both are actually good, right? The outfit is good, not great, but the weapon is fantastic. It's probably one of Glenn's best weapons. Like, not even exaggerating, one of his best weapons. And then last but certainly not least, let's check out Angeal's new, the Balmung. All right, at at level 130, does 2,000 physical non-magic or magic non-elemental damage. Physical resistance is increased, magic resistance is increased. So what this does is it decreases the amount of damage that you take from physical and magic attacks by 25% for 15 seconds. This is a great way to help yourself survive against really large nukes. Like, for example, the Bahamut Sin fight in the escalation battle, right? Having an extra 25% physical and magic resistance can help you survive those, I think it's petaflares, a little bit easier. And remember that a lot of these new weapons that we're using have HP thresholds to utilize all of the effects that they have. So making sure that you can stay above those high HP thresholds with extra resistances is super helpful. He also gets a, holy God, that's a 50% veil. Angeal's just never gonna get hurt. That is obscene. So for folks that haven't watched it, by the way, hold on a second. This is just for the meme at this point. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the video that I just posted today. I need y'all to see this because this was a no commentary video, by the way. Not that that's important. I need y'all to see this because this is really important to me. We're gonna take a break here just for a brief moment so I can show you this in particular. Let's pull this up on full screen. I'm gonna zoom in to the physical fight where I fought against Shiva. Okay, my Shiva team was Angeal as my fire damage dealer that lowers fire resist. He was using volcanic heat in this fight, and my main tank. The way that Shiva's Heavenly Strike works is it targets your character's the character with the highest HP, right? So all you have to do is make sure that your highest HP character has a ton of magic defense and it's a piece of cake, right? But Angeal has a ton of ways to give himself Veil. And remember that it said 10% Veil. That means 10% of this HP number is getting included as a Veil, which is a shield, right? So he's getting a 3,208 shield on top of his 32,000 health. Watch here how much damage this Heavenly Strike does after it goes through the Veil. That was a 10% veil. A 10% veil. Okay? Now later in the fight, she uses a diamond dust attack on my entire team. Now I used his limit break at Astra to increase or give my entire team a veil. I think it's 20% of their HP. Watch how much damage this does to the party. This is not a 50% veil, by the way. This is 20%. 0, 0, and this did 555 is what it looks like. 555. So it didn't break through Vincent's veil. It didn't, look how much damage it did to Angeal's veil. It didn't even break through half of Angeal's veil. Now remember, I didn't reapply veil after this. So he's still working with the same veil. Watch this Heavenly Strike. Sorry. I was having fun. Look at that. It did nothing. That's a meme. It didn't do anything. It didn't even come close. This is the stage 2 summon fight that everybody is struggling with right now. And this Angeal just tanked its strongest single target attack with only -1 magic attack. It only has -1 magic attack on that attack. That's it. You can see it right there, -1. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. And so when I tell you then that this is a 50% veil, that is absurd. And it lasts for 60 seconds and he gets to use that 3 times? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is obscenely powerful. Obscenely powerful. And the reason why it is right now is because the damage that we're being dealt is still based off of our old account figures, right? It's based off of what our account used to be able to do. So before Memoria, before this power creep came through, eventually they will continue buffing the damage that we're being dealt to the tune of, like, this will probably not be as overpowered as it would be today. So they put resistances on here to make sure that it stays good as time goes by. Because even if they increase the damage, this is a flat resistance after everything is all said and done, like from the base. So it takes it, so let's say Leviathan uses Tidal Wave, right? The way that physical resistance works, at least this is my knowledge of it, I may be incorrect, and I'm sure folks will correct me, but the way that I understand it is that physical and magic resistance does a 25% reduction before mitigation is done. So if it hits for 500,000 damage, right, before we mitigate anything, that 25% debuff goes in now, immediately, right? And it reduces it by 25%, right off the rip. And then your mitigation comes through, meaning that you're getting the maximum amount of debuff from this at the start. And then your mitigation comes through. So this is a very powerful effect. This veil is insane. Insane. And the fact that he gets 3 casts of this is wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. It comes with physical defense, and just because I'd like to... Oh my god, dude. At the beginning of the fight, he gives HP gain to his entire team for 60 seconds, and it's an 8% heal for every time they cast. My god, I'm losing my voice. This is great for bosses that start off by hitting you, right? Because this allows you to immediately start gaining your HP back just from casting and setting up, which is very, 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 very good, right? Very good. This is an excellent ultimate weapon. It's excellent in Angeal's kit, and it's one of the best ultimate weapons in the game. It's very powerful. Very powerful. On one of the best characters in the game, by the way. He is one of the best tanks in the game. So this is insanely powerful. Yeah, really good. Really, really good. But yeah, I think that wraps up the featured banner pools. Man, that's wild. I can't wait to see what the other featured banners are going to be this month. That's crazy. That's actually crazy.